Right, welcome back. We apologize for the mix-up there. Please bear with us. The program again is still Monday 2015, and then, like we said before the break, we'll be taking a look at the psyche of Nigerians now as we prepare for the polls tomorrow. We have been joined in the studio by Mr. Kayode Akomolafe, who is a legal practitioner and a social commentator. Thank you for joining us this evening.
You're welcome.
Good evening. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So straight to the issue of the moment. Well, tomorrow is the election date we've all been preparing for, and then so many preparations have gone on the ground. So many violence have accosted the preparation. Also, so much of hate speeches and all of that. Now, going by what happened during the presidential elections till now, Mr. Akomolafe, what's your assessment of Nigerians' preparedness for the elections tomorrow?
Well, thank you very much. Without doubt, the outcome of the presidential elections has a very great bearing on the attitude of Nigerians towards the governorship and state houses of assembly elections coming up tomorrow. And that is understandable in view of the fact that there was so much apprehension as to what the aftermath of the elections, the presidential and national assembly elections, will be. Just like you rightly mentioned, coming to your studios now, I drove through some measure of traffic compared to 2 weeks ago, Friday 27th, where everywhere was deserted. So of course this is an indication that people expect the elections to be peaceful. People want to participate in the process because of what Nigerians saw of the results of the presidential and national assembly elections, where it appears that the vote of the average Nigerian actually counts now. People therefore want to come out, they want to be a part of the process, they want to vote, and they want their votes to count. In this wise, one must acknowledge for the value that it has created for us as a people, as a country, as a nation, as Nigeria, the fact that the president conceded defeat before the official result was announced. That has introduced a new dimension to Nigerian politics, and the average Nigerian expects, and you see, this is what I have always said, this is what I've always believed, that if the election process is credible, if it is seen to be free and fair, the average politician will accept the results. Once, to a large extent, the process can be proven to be credible. And it also suggests that Nigerians now have a measure of faith in the umpire, in INEC, believing that the result that we expect to see following tomorrow's elections will be credible. So Nigerians expect that insofar as the results are credible, then there will be really no reason for anybody to go out and foment trouble or precipitate post-election violence.
Or even stay away from the election.
Yes, yes. Also, there is the dimension of the provision of security. Because the elections were largely peaceful, people believe that the security agencies did their work well. And so people expect that they would even do better tomorrow. And I imagine we will see a greater turnout compared to what we saw for the presidential and national assembly elections.
Okay, like Olisa Agbakoba, former president, Nigerian Bar Association, did say that the Nigerian citizen, each and every one of them, and also INEC, and to, like what you said, a greater degree, the president himself was actually the hero of the last elections that took place. That's on March 28. We have elections coming again tomorrow. I think history again will be rewritten or written. What is your take what do you think will be going through the minds of Nigerians and of course the international community right now?
Very well. Let me start with the international community. Of course, a lot of commendation has come the way of Nigeria as a result of the outcome of the Presidential and National Assembly elections on March 28th. But of course, we all understand that that was only just the first leg. And until we conclude this second leg, we really cannot be said to have got it right. What we must say is we got the first leg right. So if we get the second leg right, then it will be said that yes, we got it right. And getting it right involves INEC being able to correct the lapses and anomalies that were experienced in the last elections. It involves us witnessing less issues and occurrences of violence. I will be honest with you. It appears to me that looking critically at the scenarios that are likely to play out, there is a bit more of a concern for security now than even in the presidential elections.
Why and how? This
is simply because in states where governors who are the incumbents, of course, on the platform of the ruling party in their states, lost in certain areas. Maybe they lost senatorial seats, they lost elections for their senatorial constituencies. The approach of those states, the approach of those governors, the approach of the political parties in those states is to ensure that they do not lose this time. And for those who won, they want to consolidate on their victory. So there is a greater drive to ensure that you make a statement, you retain your hold as the party that won, and the party that lost, you want to come back. So, except Nigerian politicians have come to appreciate what we have said time and again, that politics is not a do or die affair. If they have come to appreciate that, if they value that principle, then of course, no matter how much you may have prepared for it, no matter how much you may have put into it, if it is the result, if the result is the expression of the will of the people, then you should just accept it. And you see, that is where we have a concern, that if truly your interest in participating in the electoral process is to serve the people, and you can ascertain to a large extent that the outcome of the election is the expression of the will of the people, then any politician should be bound by the decision of the people.
Okay, again I want to take you back to the issue of the last election. People of the view that the result of the presidential election is likely to going to have a bandwagon effect on the governorship and the House of Assembly elections down the line. Do you believe this, and what's your take on this?
Well, I think these elections hold quite a number of surprises. We won't see that bandwagon effect.
Really?
It is not likely that we will see the bandwagon effect. And
why do you feel so exactly?
The dynamics. Let me try and explain the dynamics.
Okay.
If one approaches it from the perspective that the ruling party at the center obviously expected to retain power,
naturally,
but it didn't do so. Now, if the ruling party had retained power at the center, then you may have had the bandwagon effect, where, of course, where the party at the center, we control the federal might, we have the federal might to control the security agencies and whatever other areas that we need to influence. Then you can expect that bandwagon effect to play out in favor of the ruling party at the center.
Okay, let me come in at this point.
Yes.
Now, in the last few days, or few weeks and days,
There have been defections.
Yes, exactly. Is that not one of the bandwagon effects?
Exactly.
Now, you see, in those states where we have seen the bandwagon effect, as you put it, those are the states where the ruling party did not fare well. So there really isn't any bandwagon effect, so to say, because let's take a state, let's take Niger State for instance. In Niger State, the ruling party didn't do as well as it expected. So you have had members of the party, the ruling party, defect to the opposition, because now they can see that there is a great likelihood that their party will not get as much positive results as they anticipated. So at the end of the day, it is not so much of the bandwagon effect of the defection that will result in the outcome that we will see from tomorrow. It is because there has been a shift in the disposition of the people. Nigerians have come to a point where we can say this is what we want. And then you see another reason why I believe that we will not see the bandwagon effect is this. Nigerians have said, I will vote for the candidate that I believe in, and not necessarily for his party.
For his party.
Before I came in here, I was engaged in some lengthy conversations with people analyzing the scenarios. I've been engaged in exchanges back and forth on social media, and you see repeatedly people saying, I am voting for this candidate and not
the party.
And you see what will then play out is that a number of Nigerians who voted in a particular direction in the presidential election will take a 180-degree shift and vote in the other direction. So you see, you cannot at the end of the day say it's cut and dry. There will be a number of surprises. Okay. There will be upsets.
Definitely.
Now, you talked about surprises that we're likely to expect during the election. And you also mentioned earlier on that the Nigerian politics now has a new dimension to it because of the attitude of the incumbent president. Now, and we also talked about the issue of Nigerians coming now to terms with what they want and actually wanting it play out. How did you think we got here? What happened along the line? And what happened along the line?
You know, it is said that you can fool some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. And it is natural human nature that when a person is pushed to the wall, the person revolts, no matter how humble, no matter how timid, no matter how unassuming the person may be. It gets to a point where a people, and you see, it's just a function of learning from history. What has human existence been about? Self-actualization. And self-actualization results when the average human being has had enough of domination from another human being. And then you say, you know what, I cannot take it anymore. And that is what is happening in Nigeria. And you know, it's interesting that we had said it over and over again, that a day will come in Nigeria when the Nigerian populace will say they have had enough. We had said that there will be a revolution. I know that at some point some of us were not exactly able to put a finger on it to say this is what the revolution will be. We kept hoping and praying that it will not be in form of a civil unrest or civil disobedience that will lead to violence, because that certainly we do not need as a people. And whether we like it or not, this is the revolution the Nigerian citizen has waited for. So we have got to a point where Nigerians have had enough.